Hello and welcome to Popcorn Dreams. This is the best movie of 2020. Yeah? Okay, well, it may be not necessarily what I think is the best movie of 2020, but it's certainly my favourite movie of 2020. And my favourite movie of 2020 was The Invisible Man. So first of all, the direction of this movie is absolutely on point. It's fantastic. I love that opening scene. Let's take that as an example for the whole movie. Almost no dialogue. And yet, through visual storytelling, we get every bit of information we need. The house is very modern and very large, and it's on a beach, or it's not on a beach, but it's in a beachfront. So we know that someone who lives there is very, very successful. We know that the girl is very afraid of the guy.
Adrian?
Look at the way she's sneaking around. Look at the fear in her face when she kicks the dog bowl. We also know that she's had to drug him and that in another situation that could tell us that she's a bad person, but actually the way they portray it here, you are very clearly aware that she had to drug him in order to escape. You can see it from every element. She's been planning this for a long time, and everything there immediately tells you that she is being abused by her boyfriend, husband, the man that she's living with. We know this because look at how everything's set up. Everything's already planned out. She's got a bag ready to go. She's got someone ready to meet her, not at the front gate, but she's going over the wall and they're going to meet her on a side road. She's organised, but not in a malicious way. She doesn't seem in any way like she could be the bad person in this movie. She is running for her life. And if you were ever in doubt about that, if maybe you thought that in that bag she was stealing something, we have the guy wake and chase her out when she gets into the car, just to put that last nail in the coffin so that you know absolutely in this relationship, she is the victim, he is the oppressor. We have wonderful tension being built the whole way through. That constant score of the waves coming back and forth just adds what can be quite a romantic setting. Here, it adds atmosphere, it adds an extra layer of tension. It's a glorious opening sequence to what is a glorious film. But what makes that opening sequence even better is Elizabeth Moss's performance. And her performance actually holds the film the whole way through. It's not just in that opening, although she sells everything really well. But then she carries on doing that throughout the film. I know somebody who's escaped from a situation like that, and she just feels so real. From the being afraid to walk out of your front door, to the slowly trying to regain your life, the fear that your newfound freedom could be over at any second, that he's going to find you, right the way through building her arc to the point where she then decides to not be a victim and to take the fight to him. It's just a glorious, glorious performance. Dear God, does she deserve an Oscar?
Just let me help you.
Yeah, Yeah, but as long as Adrian's around, you can't help me.
I don't know that she'd get it because of the kind of film it is, like horror sci-fi. Not really what the Academy loves, but she deserves it. I can't think of a performance I saw that whole year that's better. And I also like her reaction, especially with her friends, because her friends are supportive. They're very supportive. Her sister and her friend, they're very, very supportive to a point where, if they're not believing about the Invisible Man, fair enough. Who would believe that? That's ridiculous. But then if they think she's going through some sort of psychotic break, which they do seem to be, they're very quick to give up on her and cut her off. Now I get it. The sister gets the email. Yeah, I don't know that I would write off my sisters if I knew that they'd got out of a relationship like that and then they sent me an email like that. I think I'd want to know why that came out of the blue. So I'd probably, be available to them whenever they want. And to be fair, the sister does come later to meet her. And again, the family that she lives with, yeah, okay, he thinks that she's just punched his daughter. But at the same time, that whole theme of friends being supportive up to a point is very true to life as well. And Elizabeth Moss really sells that sense of isolation. You can really see the level of fear and how alone she truly feels. And of course, that's tying back into how good the direction is, because that isolation brings her to realise that she's got to do this for herself. Now, the moment that she gets the upper hand, she doesn't get an upper hand, but the moment she knows she's pregnant, she has a bargaining chip, and you can see very clearly this dawn on her. She realises that she's got something she can negotiate with now. It's fascinating, it's brutal, it's beautiful, it's a wonderful, wonderful performance, and she's phenomenal. That, you know what, I had to read The Handmaid's Tale when I was younger, and I know she stars in the TV show, and I didn't really want to watch it before, but her performance in The Invisible Man has made me want to go and watch The Handmaid's Tale. So we have an excellent director, an excellent script, we have an excellent performance. But my third reason for why this is my favourite film of 2020 is a personal one. You see films where they kind of remake them every sort of 10 years or so. And we as film fans scream out, why are we getting another remake? Why are we doing that again? But there are some types of film that I think a remake can work really well for. The classic Universal monster movies, I love all of them, even the ones that aren't quite so great. I love them, I think they're fantastic, and they were a big part of my life growing up. But they are, 80, 90 years old at this point? They are very much of their time. And I think the idea of having a monster universe, as in with those classic characters like Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster, the Wolfman, Dracula, the Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, I think that's fine. I think that's okay doing that. I think the mistake that they made was trying to make The Mummy into an action comedy, which I know they've been doing for 20 years now, but stop it. Please stop it. The originals were horror movies, so make them horror movies, please. Thank you. But that's what's really great about this, is it takes The Invisible Man, which is one of the better Universal monster movies, if I'm being honest. But it's still the acting, when we're being honest, if you're watching those black and white movies, is a little hammy. It's a little over the top.
Bandages right up to the top of his head, all round his ears.
Flora's worried about Griffin.
I had a terrible feeling last night. I felt he was in desperate trouble.
Especially in The Invisible Man, you've got the landlady just screaming endlessly to the point where even her husband in the film says, "Oh, shut up." Those films are ripe for intelligent filmmakers to remake with a new translation to our current time. Just like in the 80s, we had several remakes of 1950s sci-fi movies. When you've got The Thing, you've got The Fly as two great examples. There are more, but those are really the ones that stand out for me. They're brilliant. I quite enjoy the 50s movies. I do. There's like the pacing is very rigid and there's some boring parts in there, but those 80s remakes are amongst my favourite movies of all time. The Thing could possibly be my favourite movie of all time if I was really pushed to choose one. It's great. It's fantastic. And so seeing this done, I want to see... those classic monster movies will always be there, but I want to see them updated, and I want to see the things that they look at or the themes that they raise then explored in our modern world. And that's what The Invisible Man does so perfectly. In the original film, you've got, if a man can be invisible, A, if he doesn't have to look at himself, what can he achieve? And B, he sort of almost becomes a god because he can do anything. He can walk in anywhere. He can go and do anything he wants. In the original one, he derails trains and he assassinates people. And
Wheeling in terror at the touch of my little invisible finger. Even the moon's frightened of me. The whole world's frightened to death.
Whereas Leigh Whannell clearly had a very clear idea of what he wanted to do, and the material itself is perfect. It's a perfect combination of the basic sci-fi idea of the Invisible Man and what that means when you apply that to a relationship and to how broken that relationship is. It fits perfectly, and that's why we've ended up with what is just a phenomenally good film.
He said that wherever I went, he would find me, walk right up to me, and I wouldn't be able to see him.
Adrian is dead.
He's not dead. He has figured out a way to be invisible.
Is it the best film of 2020? Maybe, maybe not. It's going to be subjective, that, isn't it? But it's my favourite film of 2020. And if you didn't watch it when it came out last year, you should watch it now. And go buy it on Blu-ray. Check it out. Watch it loads. It's phenomenally good. I love that movie.
Let me help you.
You can't help me. Surprise.
If you like this video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And I will see you next time on Popcorn Dreams.